on the button. Checking. Yeah, we're live. Guys, welcome to this very first workshop of this hackathon. This workshop is together with Covalent. As you can see on the screen, we have Harish and Leilani, and they will soon start. But before we start, I just want to show you something very important, and that is that in Moralis, we have now full integration with Covalent, so that you can use it in all the different SDKs that we offer. And if you go to Moralis plugins, let me share my screen here, and then I go here, and then I go here. So everything that the guys will speak about in this workshop, remember that you can easily access all this functionality if you install the Covalent plugin in your Moralis server, and then you just write moralis.plugins.covalent, and then the function name, and everything is available and ready to go. And as you know, with Moralis, you can easily build web apps, as we show in our boilerplate, and you can get going very fast. And you have all the features like balances, transfers, NFTs. You can easily build mobile apps with React Native, and now also with Covalent, you can power your mobile apps with Covalent. And our newest SDK, it is the Unity SDK, so that you also, of course, can use Covalent there and all their data there. And so now, without further ado, I want to introduce Harish and Leilani. Over to you guys. Thanks a lot for supporting the hackathon and for being here with us, and can't wait to hear what you guys have to teach us.
I think that's the workshop right there. That's pretty much all you need to know. You can basically start building.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, we want to go through a little bit of the Covalent API, how to use it from our side, our docs, and then show you some of the cool stuff that people have built. But just before, I think it's kind of useful to like set the scene, and maybe we can have a bit of a conversation around some of the trends that we're seeing in this kind of phase of adoption that we're in. So can everyone see? Can you see my my screen now? I'm sharing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Is it working? Maybe I'll just go through it like this. Okay. So basically, we've seen a lot of interest in the past year, especially. It's been a crazy year, 2020 and to 2021. With a lot of kind of big, more Web 2 brands dipping their toes in the world of Web 3 and crypto. And we kind of like to start off when explaining Covalent with the kind of setting the scene of where these phases of adoption lie and the different types of technology that we've seen grow over the past few decades and how that curve kind of looks. Because I think it's useful when setting the kind of understanding the problem of where we're at and supporting a lot more people flooding into this industry and basically building apps that actually support a lot of users, as we're coming to see. So some of the big names like Visa, PayPal, with NFTs, you see like big sports teams, NBA, UFC, starting their own NFT collections, and especially like hiring NFT specialists, which I think is really interesting. So it's no secret that like Web3 isn't just some shadowy area of the internet anymore. A lot of people are taking notice. I'm actually curious, like Harish and Ivan, what other kind of trends that you're noticing, or what do you think some of the mega trends are in the industry right now, and things that you're paying attention to that kind of signal the current stage that we're at?
I have a lot to say, but I'll let Harish go first. As it's all about Covalent, so please, Harish.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really exciting is if you took a look at this trend in 2018, you obviously had a lot of interest, and then the bear market, where it seemed like this was just a fad and crypto was going away. And what I think we've now sort of shown is that crypto's here, it's getting mainstream, it's basically getting its tentacles into everything. Everything from naming rights for iconic stadiums like the Staples Center to every single sports league now exploring an NFT offering, to decentralized organizations starting to take off and become more and more noticeable. So, I mean, all of these are fantastic trends. I think what it's exciting for us at Covalent is as a data player, just the vast volume of data this is creating, and we'll talk a little bit about what that means for scaling and growth on our end. But I think if you take a look at the adoption curve, it's still very early. And I think this is what is important for people to be cognizant of. If you're just a developer in the Web 2 space entering Web 3 for the first time, it's important to recognize that we are still at an early stage, and you're not late to the game, so to speak. So any time is a great time to be joining now. And as you can see with the Moralis Avalanche Hackathon, there's so much excitement, so much money, so much so many ideas floating around that this is your chance to build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to add to that, NFTs, they really open up the world to the mainstream, because now everyone is having some kind of connection. I mean, everyone knows someone that knows something about NFTs, that is excited about NFTs. And crypto, for the longest time, it had this, in the mainstream that, it's something shady. People see on the news something shady. But with NFT, it's so fun. Everyone loves it. Everyone is part of it. Everyone understands that this is going to be big. It's so addictive. And it's also about the generation that is in NFTs, because right now, the generation that is in NFTs, we've all played games as kids, computer games, and now we get to relive it in. But now it's also with money involved, and we can trade, and we can stake, and we can earn yield, and that's also important from generational perspective. I think that the generation needs to be right. The generation of people that is mainly using a technology, it needs to have some certain upbringing where it makes sense. And so that's why it's so easy for even the younger generation. Is even easier to understand everything that we're doing here with digital assets, and they're worth hundreds of thousands, the spunks millions. And it's the perfect storm now, I think, where everything is falling into places.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's interesting that you brought up gamification, because I totally see that with things geared towards the games that we played as kids, like the Mario look or the pixelated retro look. And
Habbo Hotel,
yeah. Everybody loves it though. It's like gaming for adults, but you make money. It's like the perfect way to describe this industry.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think you both kind of touched on a lot, but what we all agree on too is that with more users comes millions more pieces of data on the blockchain. And we've already seen tremendous growth in the past year. You can look at any TVL chart, and basically it's crazy. But what does that mean when we're actually extracting that data? So at Covalent, we kind of realized there's a big problem when it comes to extracting and loading data in a way that is interoperable, and a way that's readable across different blockchains. And as we kind of progress, a lot more features are becoming multi-chain. A lot more applications are across different chains that people want to see all of their assets in one place. And it's kind of hard to do that with the current stack. So basically, we see kind of the two big problems in the midst of all of this scaling as data interoperability. So that ability to transfer user data across apps or across different platforms that they're using. And then basically just actually providing the data in a way that's actually free and easy to use, because blockchain data is public. It's always been a public good, but it's technically public, but is it realistically or practically public? That's kind of a different conversation, because it is difficult to extract. It can be expensive. It can be complicated for a lot of people. So those are kind of the issues that we're solving. I understand that Moralis I think we align on these problems. So maybe you could touch on that, Ivan, if you see kind of a similar roadmap for what needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I think that, and by the way, Moralis API has a lot of similar features that Covalent also has on your base, class A, but so do 1,000 other APIs, because it's it's very standard to have block with transaction, some tokens, balances. But what is interesting is that you guys also have this more higher tier, more niche, so to speak, exotic APIs like DeFi APIs, and you also have way more different chains than we have, and we're never thinking in terms of this, we have this API and then, Covalent is competing. We never think like that, because there's going to be so many different APIs, because there are so many different data extraction points that it's impossible for anyone to have all of them. And that's really what is exciting with Covalent, because you guys, you do a lot of blockchains. Number one, you have way more than we in terms of API, but also that you have a lot of these niche DeFi APIs. And also I'm very excited about your roadmap, because as Harish told yesterday in the opening ceremony, I think that you will allow users to define their own API, but that's in the future in this decentralized network. So I think that's super interesting and super exciting, and we're all about integrating this power and giving it to Moralis users, because we know that we can provide the basic APIs, but all of these exotic ones, we integrate them, and that's why it's so great to be working with you guys.
That's great to hear. Yeah, definitely. We're in the same space right now where it's not like direct competition with anybody, because there are going to be multiple solutions, and especially like there's different solutions for different problems, and nobody ever is facing the exact same needs in Web3. So it makes sense to all cooperate and to find the best way to like work together and build an entire infrastructure layer that actually supports a whole bunch of users. So. But as you kind of mentioned, one of the things that we really focus on is having a lot of different blockchains indexed. So the Covalent API is a unified API, and that basically means that our main advantage is changing a chain ID parameter and making your projects multi-chain. So like the unified API itself, it's a no-code solution. You can use it from the browser. We try to make everything really easy and user-friendly. And one of the things that we're actually looking forward to, aside from obviously the Class C endpoints, is releasing more of a student mode as well. So something that actually helps users get into our docs and then try things out maybe for the first time that they're working with blockchain data, and make that experience a little less daunting, because I think it can be for a lot of people. But the current state of the API, yeah, you can try it directly from the browser. We have a whole bunch of Class A endpoints, and then we also have those protocol-specific Class B endpoints. And it's queryable from the cloud. It enables multi-chain features. Basically, if you want to change just the chain ID instead of building a whole new app or building a whole new transformation engine, you just change like a number and your project's multi-chain. So that's definitely one of the advantages we see, because we totally believe that it's a multi-chain future and there's not going to be like one single blockchain. So yeah, it kind of needs solutions that adapt for that.
And can I ask a question? So do you guys support non-EVM also? I guess you do, right? You have EVM and non-EVM. And then I guess you also have a standard interface across all of them, because that's very powerful, that you can go from EVM, non-EVM. Maybe you can tell us which blockchains you have. And for the developer, it's the same, that they don't need to care how different blockchains work under the hood, how balances, token balances, NFT balances are presented in the blockchains themselves. If they use Covalent, it's standard interface across, right? So which blockchains do you guys support like that right now?
Yeah.
So I was going to say, Ivan, you hit it on the head. I mean, just like the whole idea behind the Moralis Web3 platform is to make it as simple and intuitive for developers as possible. It's the same idea that we've taken. So exactly right. The same interface, the same data format, response format, whether it's an EVM or non-EVM chain. We're just about to showcase our API supporting Solana. That was one of the key non-EVMs that we've been focused on, and we've had an intern internally helping us build that out. We've also got a few others near Cosmos. All of these are also on deck. The Covalent network itself is going to be on Moonbeam. So we are supporting the polkadot ecosystem as well, and that's where the Covalent network is going to live. And inherently, when that goes live with mainnet, we're going to be indexing that network as well. So those are some of the non-EVMs. But to your point, the idea for developers, it doesn't really matter. In fact, they don't even really need to know what's under the hood. Or which blockchain's under the hood. They're getting their data. They're able to use it in sort of a standardized and predictable interface, so that regardless of what they're using, they're getting the same data format each time.
Yeah. To give a little bit of a bigger picture on kind of like where Covalent fits in the overall crypto stack. So, you have your blockchains, nodes, applications, and users. That's pretty standard to kind of break up the way that crypto sort of functions, but Covalent basically is just that middle data layer. So as Harish was saying, it's like the interface between developers building something and then getting the data that they need without necessarily like running their own nodes or needing to develop their own infrastructure to do that. So we want to basically just make that experience as easy as possible and then enable more and more and more applications, more and more use cases. And we like to say one unified API, 1 billion possibilities. If you've kind of heard, that's like our motto. But what that means is like, we don't even know what's possible. We know what we've seen, which is some really awesome projects that we'll actually showcase a few of later on. but there's so many things that you could do, and there's so many different people that are actually able to use the API by making it a little more user-friendly. Like one of our developing demographics is analysts, because analysts aren't necessarily building subgraphs necessarily or whatever. They're people that need to make a quick insight, or they're curious, or they're writing a piece that they just saw on like maybe another news article that prompted them, and they want to do a little digging themselves. So that's something that we're working on making a lot easier by actually incorporating analyst mode in our docs, which I'll show you in a little bit. But we have built-in tabular responses now, so that people that want to just like get a quick snapshot of the data, and maybe they're used to working with CSVs, that's possible. So the goal is just to sit at this middle layer and to enable everything that can be built across different blockchains.
I adapted this to highlight how we now fit in with the Moralis platform here. So basically, Ivan, the Moralis platform's taking care of all the heavy lifting, and now with the Covalent plugin, you basically have one tool that does all the heavy lifting, as you pointed out, yesterday, the Firebase of Web3 here, essentially.
Right. And by the way, I see someone in the chat asking, can Covalent do a quick tutorial on Moralis? We have actually a video on YouTube right now. Let me show it to you that you can go and check out. It's called the Moralis Covalent plugin. I'll see. I'll go here. I'll go like this, and then I'll go here. It's called Moralis Covalent plugin explained. You can watch it already. And it is exactly like you say. So let me give you some examples on what Harish said, if I bring back this picture. So with Covalent, you can get all the data. With Moralis, you can log in users, and users show up in your database. Then you can grab the address of the user, and you can get a bunch of information about that user through the Covalent plugin integration, for example. Or if you have something else you need to check in terms of blocks, transactions, and so on and so forth, on different chains, like on Near and Cosmos, because those ones, Moralis does not support, like, for example, Cosmos, Near, and also the Polygon and Binance Chain, which we do support. So definitely check out the different possibilities through the docs, through the API documentation, and the best way is to plug and play with the Moralis database that is where your users are and events are, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a good time building in this hackathon with this feature now. It's basically overpowered. You can do everything.
It is.
Yeah. So I just mentioned a little bit about analysts, and I know for everyone that was in the opening ceremonies yesterday, you probably heard Gabriel speak, so I don't really need to repeat any of the testimonials here. But when I show you the docs, you'll see kind of how we've segmented the developer and the analyst mode to kind of better cater to those audiences. But yeah, right now, Covalent has over 15,000 developers building on us. We love doing hackathons like this because obviously it's a way to expose the features to even more people and to see what kind of cool things you build. I think we do a ton of hackathons. Covalent was actually started at a hackathon, so totally understand the need for innovation in this space. And a lot of the projects here are the things that are actually like big players and setting the trends months from now, which is really interesting. So some of the big names building on us, you can see here, just to, everybody likes to know what everyone else is doing. But yeah, we're always hoping to see that number grow and people evolve into taking over like a big chunk of this industry. So I'm really excited to see what people build during the Moralis Avalanche Hackathon as well. So to touch on that, we'll go into some of our bounties actually. So yeah, basically 10 2,000 USD equivalent bounties are available for using the Covalent API. Some of the project ideas, you're definitely not limited to this, but some things that we typically like to see are DEX and DAO analytics dashboards, NFT storefronts, galleries, and you can do blockchain explorers, different themed crypto wallets. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do, and actually a good place to check out what has been built in the past, if you're looking for inspiration, is our knowledge base. So I'm just going to touch on the resources really quickly. So the first place to go to get started is the Covalent docs. So this is what we call our knowledge base. This is where we have a bunch of tutorials, how-to guides, code templates. So it's going to look like this. There's a quick start, which is also where you can sign up for a free API key. And then you can go through, and this will describe a little bit more of the categories, but you can see our campaigns that we run in-house. So 1 million wallets is one of our popular ones. It's a wallet design competition. You can see supported networks here, as we were just kind of talking about. If you're curious which blockchains we index, And then you can click on these to get a better idea of which endpoints are supported when you're actually in the reference page. And there's links to that as well. And then the Alchemist Cookbook. This is where a lot of tutorials are. So like how to query with Primer, which is a solution that we developed that basically lets you refine the responses even further. And then developer tools, so things like the topic calculator. So instead of like going through the contract events in Etherscan to find your topic hashes, you can actually just pop a contract address in there and it'll generate them for you. And then here is kind of like the cool part. So governance, multi-chain analysis, tools. These are the categories of like loosely how we've grouped the different projects that we've seen built. So if you want to get a look at what other people have done in the past, we have this little showcase section. You can click on these and maybe get some inspiration or a better idea of where to start. And something else that we're actually developing in the docs themselves is templates. So when you use an endpoint, you can actually, some of them will have a preset, like a drop down of templates that you can click on to make it easier to get started as well. So as I just mentioned, there's the docs knowledge base right here, and then there's our actual API documentation page. So we just redid this. It's got a little bit of a makeover now, which I love because it was the same as the docs before and it was good, but it definitely could be better. So here we are. But we've just introduced global settings. So if you're frequently working on a particular chain, you can actually pre-configure all of that up here. You have the drop down of the different chains that we index. There's a whole bunch like getting lined up right now too. So I think in the next week or so, this will expand. But and then you have your different response currencies that you can set. And then here's this developer and analyst mode. So if I click something in analyst mode, then I can, let me just like do a random one. I can get a tabular response in the table like this. So that's super useful. That's actually how I got started with the API because I'm not really like a hardcore developer. So, but that was super useful for me. And then we have different languages here. So right now it's just Russian, Korean, and Chinese because those are some of our big user bases, but we're looking to also index this in literally every language. So it'll be even more accessible. So yeah, that's a good place to get started. Here's the class A endpoints, as we kind of mentioned. These endpoints are things that are queryable across any different chain. But the class B are the cool protocol-specific endpoints. So if you want to specifically look at Uniswap things or PancakeSwap details or SushiSwap, you can expand on all of these. And we actually just introduced XY equals K, which is basically the Uniswap clone AMM formula. So anyone that has like forked and cloned Uniswap v2, which is a lot of different dexes, like I think SpookySwap, Pangolin, SpiritSwap, across different chains, you can query all of those using XY equals K. So we'll actually demonstrate a couple of people that have done that a little later on. But yeah, this is the doc.
By the way, so here's where you guys were watching. You can be a bit smart because you know that Trader Joe is sponsoring our hackathon. And Trader Joe, I guess, is XY equal K also. So people can query Trader Joe from here, right?
I believe so, yeah. We just published an alpha alarm on Trader Joe. So if you follow our analytics page, you can go check out those charts.
See, and here's where you as a participant, if you're watching this, you need to maximize your prize pool. So if you can use Covalent, Moralis, Avalanche, Trader Joe in one call, like you do if you use Moralis plugin to query Trader Joe through Covalent, you hit like 3 birds in one stone.
Yeah,
basically.
That's part of the game, is just seeing how you can package your bounties together.
Exactly. All hackathon submissions like a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. But guys, also I saw some people ask about where they can contact the Covalent team, and we, by the way, created right now this new chat. I just created it. So if you go to our Discord, which I think we have it in the description. If not, you can go to moralis.io/mage, moralis.io/mage. You will find our Discord there. And so in our Discord, we now have, for this specific hackathon, created Covalent questions. So you should definitely join this. And here is where you can ask questions, and that will also get you guys here as well. So you can check, maybe you can get someone active here. So this is the place where you can interact and ask anything you want from the Covalent team.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see what people are doing. Should have a separate workshop on literally just like how to maximize bounties, like bounty strategy.
Yeah. Yes.
I guess you don't want to give it all away. Yeah, so those are the two primary resources. And then, of course, as we mentioned, the Moralis Covalent plugin. So if you haven't, go check out that YouTube video. Ivan, if there's anything else you want to walk through to get people started there, feel free to take the stage.
Yeah, so I'll link the video right now in this Covalent questions Discord, which I just showed you in this channel. And I mean, basically what we are doing a lot with our plugins is that we want to remove this complexity of, setting up HTTP requests, doing it from different platforms. So we have it plug and play with just moralis.plugins.covalent. You can do whatever you want from there. So you can think of it as a wrapper basically around the API. And it's easily available in your server, in your SDK. You can use it from anywhere. And I'm very excited to see what people will do with it, because sky is the limit. But please tell us a bit more how you guys are gonna move ahead with your pricing, with your token, because I know that you get the API key now and it's free, right? It's free for everyone. And then the token is gonna come into play. But is there gonna be some pricing in between? Let's say somebody wants to build some big app, they need 100,000 requests per minute. How do you work right now with that?
Yeah, Harish, do you want to take this or me?
Why don't you give it a go, and I'll fill in.
Yeah, there's no current hard plan in place to charge people for large requests or anything of that nature with the API. We are in the process of decentralizing. So basically, end of January, actually, you can expect single-sided staking to be live, and that's the first step of how we're eventually going to be setting up the extract nodes, index nodes, query nodes. So that's all taking place over 2022. And basically, the 4 kind of phases in decentralizing are probably going to be aligned with Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So the API is still, and kind of the tentative plan is for that to remain free. But at some point, CQT is kind of used as a network access token later in the future. So our validators will get rewarded for running the network in CQT, and then you'll be delegating in CQT, and eventually those queries and stuff might also be facilitated through CQT, but it's kind of a looser plan right now. So Harish could probably shed a little more light on that as well.
Well, but you need to have some kind of rate limits, right? Because I mean, that's something we deal with all the time. That people comment like, "Hey, I have this big NFT drop. We need 100,000. I mean, 100,000 requests per minute is not unusual to have when you have an NFT drop, for example. So maybe you can speak a bit about rate limits and how that works currently, and if there is any way to upgrade or how you do it now.
Yeah, so currently we've got our rate limit right now is 20 concurrent requests, and there's obviously ways to be able to work within that limit there. But in general, the idea, at least at this stage, is to encourage as many developers trying out different use cases as much as possible to sort of see what kinds of things can come out. If we were to put in a pricing gate right now, I think it would deter a lot of developers who are especially sort of moving into the space and are relatively new from trying out some of these tools. So we want to keep that barrier absolutely low as possible. I think where we will go, I mean, you're kind of obviously on top of that, where there will be elements of being able to offer different tier support or value add services depending on the type of a user they're going to be. And we'll have a few categories for that. Inherently, with the way the network is going to be set up, when you make the call, the fee will actually be in a stable coin, and then behind the scenes there'll be a market buy to acquire CQT, which then gets rewarded to the validators, and then also the delegators who are helping secure the network there. So inherently, that's sort of like the driver for the token value to some extent. The more traffic that we see on the network, the more buys behind the scenes for the CQT token, that should inherently help the token price. So that's the underlying flow. But in terms of how we sort of see the offering coming up, there will be sort of tiers and ensuring that those who have really high rate requirements and also maybe some custom support and service level, that there is an offering specifically for them.
Got it. Very interesting. And in terms of the chains, can you walk through the different chains you guys have right now? Because you mentioned Solana, you mentioned some other ones. I think you have also an endpoint, right, where people can see all the chains. I think I saw that in your docs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And this number is kind of changing every day, so it's hard to even for us to keep track of what chains. Some have come through the governance process, and some based on what the market is sort of encouraging development on. So that helps drive the decision as well. So here's a quick snapshot of the networks that we support. A lot of them being sort of EVM compatible networks, and then a few of these coming online that are non-EVMs. But this list is going to just I think continue to grow and explode. The EVM is almost like a trivial integration now for us. So really the focus is identifying those high value non-EVMs that we want to focus on.
Exactly. And how is this doing, Rootstock, the Bitcoin EVM? Do you guys have some insights on? Is it alive? People doing something there?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that one. So we actually just ran a pretty large hackathon. They're definitely, they've been around for a while there, and I think it definitely attracts a particular subset of developers who are very much bullish on the Bitcoin network. We've got a great relationship with them. We really enjoy working with them, and they're constantly announcing new things being built on them. So I think we're seeing some good traction. Great group of folks to be working with. It's definitely one of our a great network that we like working with.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great to see. I mean, EVM on Bitcoin is fantastic. So good that you guys support. Also, I see that you have the Axie and Ronin. I mean, this one is quite exotic because they're, as far as I know, they're not fully open, but you guys have access to them anyway.
Yeah, that'll show up on the actual main docs in a couple days, I think. It's just going through the final quality assurance before it's live on that drop-down menu, because we've had some people asking about that, but it has been really interesting indexing them. Our CEO actually and our data scientist, Brandon, both were really eager to dive into that because not a lot of people have worked with that kind of gaming data and it hasn't really been available. So there's kind of some more insights coming out around that from inside Covalent as well.
The fun challenges with those, of course, the indexing is one part, and then surfacing it through the API and sort of that standardized interface is the other fun part that takes a bit of time. So with these non-EVMs, that's going to be part of the experience, is just how do we ensure there's consistency in the interfaces so that when you make an API call, everything looks exactly the same regardless of the chain.
Yeah, makes sense. And also, you mentioned a lot that you also focus not only to devs but to analysts and the no code. So can you speak a bit about that? Because when we are doing something in crypto, one strategy is to really go after one audience, really go after developers, do everything for developers. And another strategy is to say, okay, we're going to do this for developers, but also a nice UI. So it's two different audiences. So how do you think about that? Do you guys want to go after developers only, or do you think that they somehow cancel each other out? Not cancel, but that they kind of take away from, or do you not see any competition between the audiences in terms of your attention and where you put the most work?
So the Covalent API is a developer-focused product. That is our primary target audience. Hands down, that's where our focus is. But within the developer sort of category, there's a broad spectrum of skill sets, a broad spectrum of experiences, and so the idea behind the analyst mode is, for those users who may be comfortable, using the API but getting data in sort of tabular format so that they can use it in Tableau, Power BI, be able to build dashboards in those tools. And so they still kind of fall under that, that very broad developer umbrella that we've got. So that is our go-to market. That is our focus. These different modes are just catering to the different skill sets within the developer sort of pool, the broad developer pool that we have.
Got it. Well, guys, I think this was very interesting and it's so much discussed. What else should we discuss? You think that we haven't touched? Maybe some question or something that you've been just waiting for to ask.
I think we're ready to show some cool stuff. This is sort of our happy time. So let's go ahead and bring up the goods.
Oh yeah, do you want me to go first? I was going to let you show some of the cool ones, and then I'll do the gallery, which is my favorite.
Sure, I can kick it off here. Let me just share my screen here.
This is everyone's favorite part.
And by the way, guys, By the way, guys, all of you who are watching, smash the like. We have 75 people watching. And I think, I've been in a few hackathons, but big shout out to everyone who is watching, because 75, for a workshop in a hackathon, normally I'm in a hackathon, even the biggest ones is like, 20, 30, but 76 it's a very good turnout. And guys, smash the like and share. Maybe Triangles can retweet us, red triangles on Avalanche. Be bullish on Avalanche on Twitter, and we get even more people here if they retweet. So thanks a lot for that, guys. You really spread us in a good way. Thanks a lot. So now over to Leah and Harish.
Okay, so let's. This is the part I think a lot of people wait for, is just to sort of see what can be built. And again, everything that we're going to show you was built out of a hackathon. So this is just to get that creativity sort of flowing and get those juices flowing in terms of what you can actually build. So we've got this project from Dallalytics. This was one of our recent hackathons. In fact, I think this might have been a global hackathon.
I'm not sure if I can see your screen. I think I might need to stop sharing.
Oh, sorry. We're showing Leia's screen. One second.
There
now
we go.
We're showing. Yeah,
okay.
There we go. There. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So this was Dallalytics. And what was really exciting is I actually reached out to them yesterday and told them, hey, are you aware of this Moralis Avalanche hackathon in terms of what they're offering? And he was like, holy moly. And now he's going to actually adapt this and incorporate DAOs on the Avalanche network, because he got so excited with the bounties being offered. So this is a dashboard where you can kind of do a deep dive into some of the key metrics for a DAO. So everything from sort of analyzing their Twitter feed to get a sense of the sentiment, to some of the key information around the membership and total value locked. This was an interesting one, and I think they're going to try to factor out the treasury so that not all these corporations are close to one.
But just interrupt. So our rules is that you cannot just rebrand something from the past.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they will have to start on something new. But of course, we want to make it fair, and with this kind of prices, we're clear that if you've been building something for 5 years and you come to the hackathon, of course you're gonna win. So these guys they better do something from scratch. But it's good that we could repeat that, because we've had some question about that, of course.
That's a very good point, Ivan. I should have clarified that. What I said is that they have to use the Moralis and Moralis web development platform for this. This I think they built using some other tool, so they'll have to eventually utilize your tooling here. So this is again just a quick snapshot, and in terms of just being able to understand sort of the makeup of the DAO. And be able to understand some of the additional details around the token holders. And then the idea is that be able to drill deep into each of these token holders and sort of get analysis of, what other assets they might be holding, what other DAOs they might be involved in. So you get a bit more of a complete picture for each of these decentralized autonomous organizations. So this was a really well done project. In sort of the same spirit, this is a DEX dashboard, and this is actually one that utilizes that XY equals K endpoint that Lei was talking about. So here, being able to quickly pick one of the clones that we support, and then there's a tie-in here to a couple of external tools like Token Terminal, being able to tools and the tokens and other key information dexes. So all of that in sort of one really beautifully built interface here. And again, this was out of a hackathon. So these are all things that are very much doable, and more so given we've got a bit more extra time with the Moralis Avalanche hackathon. Tools like Spirit Swap, which is powered by the Covalent API. There was actually a hackathon that we ran with Avalanche, and just want to showcase some of the wallets that came out of this. This is an iOS wallet that was built specifically for Avalanche out of that hackathon. So a mobile play here, but very beautifully and really well done app. There's Pandora Express. So this is a fantastic one where basically you're pulling in NFT data across chains. And then on each of these, you can actually also use a little bit of the gamification here, where you can predict, what the price of this NFT might be in 24 hours, in a week. So signaling on each of these NFTs a little bit and adding that gamification element to this. So this is an NFT marketplace powered by the Covalent API, which was really cool to see. And we had this guest on one of our podcasts a couple of weeks ago. Got Rainbow Wallet. This is arguably one of the best wallets in the space, powered by the Covalent API. It's open source, so you can actually just take this. In fact, one of the videos we're going to try to do over this hackathon is use Moralis and take the open source code here and try to replicate this wallet here. But if you hadn't had a chance to play around with it, download it and play. It's a fantastic wallet, really clean, very simple interface to use. So those are just some of the quick ideas for each of the different use cases. So we've seen a wallet, we've seen NFT marketplace here, we've seen a mobile app, we've seen a DEX dashboard, and we've seen a DAO dashboard. So let's take a look at sort of the last category, which is some of the NFTs. So I'll let Lei showcase these because these are always really fun to watch.
Thanks. Yeah, this one's a little challenging to get through the door, so I'll try my best. But yeah,
I alluded to this. I alluded to this yesterday. This was sort of the 3D NFT gallery that one of the hackathon participants had built. So let's have a look at that.
Cool. Can you see mine? There we go. Perfect. So first of all, when you come onto the landing page for this, you put your wallet address in, or you put like anybody's wallet address in that's holding NFTs that will actually populate inside of this 3D building that they made, and you can walk around it, move around with your mouse and see where you are. And then this was actually built at the Covalent RSK 1 million wallets. So it's funny, we were just talking about that. But yeah, then you can basically like move around with the arrow keys. Sometimes it's really hard to get through. Okay, it's fine. I got it. But yeah, the NFTs that you hold in that wallet address will show up on the wall. So you can kind of walk around your own like personal NFT gallery. So this is using our like get NFT metadata endpoint, and it'll show the title and the image. So if you were a person that like had a whole bunch, it's a really cool way to visualize them. You can walk through like your own kind of mind palace and look on the walls. It's just a super creative way to display these that we haven't really seen before. There's like a whole bunch of rooms in this place. I think if you were a really avid collector, this would be sweet for you. But yeah, this one kind of blew our minds when we first saw it. It's just like a really interesting way to showcase something, and it kind of brings in the gamification element a little bit too, because you're kind of like, you are your own main character in this little virtual world. Yeah, it's super sweet.
I love it. I love it.
There's another one using Unity, which was pretty cool. I just have to bring it up, but
yeah, especially since Ivan, you mentioned that there's now integration with the Unity engine here. So I'm super excited to see what people are going to be able to build with this. If you go to the there's a link here to the demo up at the top.
This one?
The live demo, yeah. So again, just different types of visualizations for NFTs, but again, just fantastic in terms of what you're able to do. So here, I think you just enter in any
NFT put in like any number. It has audio too. It's like you're underwater, and then it'll just generate an NFT based off of the index number here, and then it's like this 3D thing that you can look at and walk around. Super cool. I love seeing the intersection between game developers and like Web3 use cases.
And that's the power of Unity. It's so, I mean, it's not so simple, but it is very simple to create these things in comparison to just like 10 years ago, what you could do with 3D, and now you can export to the web. And also many people don't know, but with Unity, you can also export to Xbox, to PlayStation. So, and now with Moralis, what we've done also, where Covalent can be used a lot, is that you run your Unity app on Xbox and you can log in with Wallet Connect, because it's a QR code on the TV. You log in, and then of course straight from there you can use Covalent to fetch all kinds of data. So sky's the limit here, really, and it's so much unexplored, because right now crypto is mainly the web, And crypto, by the way, it's so in a way it's nice. We have nice UI now, like Uniswap and 1inch, and a nice UI, but also very like the same. I mean, everything is the same. Like everyone has exactly the same, like Connect Wallet. Everyone has exactly the same swap interface. I mean, there's so much.
Even the documentation.
Yeah, everyone is using like Yeah,
Gitbooks,
exactly.
I think. Yeah, it's
Gitbooks.
exactly the same. Yeah.
We're guilty Gitbooks, exactly. Exactly. So it's a lot of innovation to be done actually here from a user interface and design perspective, and that's also something. I mean, one way you guys can stand out if you're watching this is have some nice design, because in hackathons that's most have a very bad design, and it's such a simple thing. If you just go to Fiverr or somewhere, you hire someone for $50 to do something for you, it's worth it. Actually, it's worth it.
That's a very good point. And that's, with all the projects that have really stood out, you can see all of them have got just some sort of unique, very creative UI that really sticks out. It makes a big difference, as you pointed out.
Yeah, even with dash decks, like one thing that stood out, it is like a dashboard, which we see a lot of, but they had that toggle for light mode and dark mode. And even that is like a cool feature that you could add in that would separate you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
I think that's it. We went through, our resources. We talked about the plugin, which I'm really excited about. I really hope people take advantage of that, and went through some project showcases that hopefully inspire and get people here excited.
Yeah, for sure. And so, guys, I will send to you, Harish and Leilani. I'll send to you a link to our Discord, and you can also add your other people.
Yep.
And I look at the chat. I mean, people love it. I see, great job, guys. Really loving it. This is gonna be lit. So very, very nice comments that you got. So great work on the presentation. And yeah, I think people need to get their hands dirty into this, because I don't see a lot of questions, because it's so clear. It's an API. You can get data, and I think questions will come once people start using it. That maybe there are questions about some response or something else. So how would you say? How should people get going as soon as possible with this?
Harish, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of get going, building for the hackathon, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about some of the support resources, and I know, Ivan, you've got sort of a full suite of them that people can go through. There's some fantastic stuff there. We've also got some code templates that we offer. So literally, if you join our team, we actually host them on Replit. So you can go into you can join our team on Replit, and then you get access to these templates, and then you literally just fork and you can run it and then modify that code if you want to experiment and play a little bit with it with very little lift. And that way you get your hands dirty, be able to see what you can do with the data, and then start using that into your Avalanche or Moralis Avalanche build. So we encourage you to get started that way, and of course take a look at some of the knowledge base resources that Leilani shared with us.
So you're on mute.
Oh, I'm muted. No, I'm muted. Yeah, perfect, guys. Fantastic. So should we call it a day, or what is the final words you guys want to tell to our viewers here on YouTube?
Thanks for coming. I hope there's some alchemists in there. Normally I can see and pick out people that I know from our community, so I'm going to probably go back and actually open the YouTube link. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you have fun, and reach out to us on that Discord channel, and we'll see what you're building.
Fantastic.
And very quickly, we talk a lot about this sort of phrase, learn and earn. And if you take a look at just the bounties being offered here, I mean, it just kind of blows my mind just what's at stake here. So, there's never been a time to get involved, never been a better event to start with. So if you are a developer sort of exploring the space, dive in head first, use the holidays, tell folks, you know what, I'll take, I'll do Christmas, but I've got, $175,000 top 3 prizes that I'm running to win for here. So leave me alone. Let me get my work done.
Exactly. But it's crazy. It's like we said in the opening ceremony, the prize to participant ratio in Web3, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yes, very much
like
so.
we said, like here we have 80 people, but normally on workshops and hackathons, it's like 20, 30, 40. And, the prize pools comparison to how many people are watching, it's a lot. If you just participate, you use some tech, you have some kind of design. Like you don't have
here's
to be
money, just take it.
You don't have to be I mean, that's what many people are scared. Oh, it's so big prize. I gotta build the next Instagram or something.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's just build something, integrate Trader Joe, Covalent, Moralis, do something. Like your chances, maybe this is the hackathon where you have most chance out of all, because the prize pools are insane. It is insane, absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect, guys.
Awesome.
Then we end it. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching, and see you tomorrow. We have team building, like always. And once again, let me remind you that you should always go and you should get that calendar going. So on our page, let me share it with you. Where is it? This page. Yeah. So on our page, on the hackathon page, you come here. You see all the prizes, and then when you go to schedule, you will click here, view and sync calendar. So you get the calendar in your calendar app. So all events are live with all the join info and all of that, and more events will be added with time. So tomorrow we do have team building. Then we have React Native workshop on December 9th. So that's the day after tomorrow. And we are all the time adding new ones. So you see the current ones right here, but more and more of the partners are also contributing to the schedule, and we're confirming more and more. So it will be more. That's why always add the calendar first. Okay, guys. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you so much.